You're in Seattle, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so you're what's that, like Batman memorabilia behind you? What do you got back there?
Yeah, I'm a huge comic book nerd.
Is that
So
right?
yeah, those are all graphic novels and Batman stuff. And
Oh wow. So
like,
and Batman's your favorite?
uh, to be honest, as strange as it sounds, Robin is my favorite.
Robin is
Yes.
really, nobody ever has Robin as a favorite. The Boy Wonder?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's just I like the fact that he took something so bad and that happened to him, and he didn't go all gloom and doom and emo. He just kind of, bucked up.
I don't know, but which Robin are we talking about? The Robin from the comic books, or are we talking about the Robin from movies now? I mean, do they even have Robin in Batman movies?
The they had that Chris O'Donnell one
Oh,
from
that's
Joel
right.
Schumacher.
Yeah.
But other than that, we haven't seen him in the movies. He's on a HBO Max show
Is
called,
that right?
yeah, and there's a pretty fun cartoon version of him out there.
Yeah. Well, the original on the TV show in the '60s with Adam West was pretty fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he was.
Although a lot of Batman fans don't seem to even acknowledge the Adam West TV series.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately,
You
you know,
can't, yeah.
I guess, but that's the one I grew up on and I
Yeah.
always loved. So
Yeah. So yeah, man, you should if there's an award for most um incongruous outcome in a movie, I think Browntown should take that. It was like um uh it's like a Disney movie goes porno, it's like and I'm sure you get this a lot. So like in the movie, we're talking about the writing. I mean, is that kind of like a autobiographical thing in any regards?
uh it yes, it is in part.
Yeah.
Um my own personal story was I went to Los Angeles to become a filmmaker. Went to USC, made a student film, had a manager, and going down that path, and things were at the time I was married. I married my high school sweetheart, and it's a rough life, and at a certain point you have to decide where your priorities are going to be. And
Yeah.
so we were both from Seattle, and knew I always wanted to have a family. So the question was, did I focus on this maybe career or this real family that I could have?
Yeah.
And we came back up to Seattle, and I still kept my toe in the industry doing different things from up here, but mainly focusing on being a good husband and parent.
Yeah.
And but I kept writing, and my kids knew I had this passion for it. And then my kids were always joking because I would come home, I said, yeah, I finished this script and I finished this script. And they said, well, when are you going to write something for us to star in? And then one day I told them I finished something that you guys would be good for.
Yeah.
So I loosely based it on them. Two of the kids, there's three kids in the movie.
Right.
And then one summer, we all just hunkered down as a family and we made the film. My wife helped me produce it and was craft service. And my two kids were PAs and were co-stars in the film.
That's awesome. Well, and then or did they? What was your kids' reaction when they saw the subject matter?
Um, well, there's always a joke kind of at the dinner table because I'm always making kind of inappropriate jokes.
Yeah.
And I just said, I had to specify, those inappropriate jokes I make. That's kind of what this script is. It's not a real thing between dad and mom. It's just this inappropriate joke. And because I had made similar jokes at the dinner table,
Yeah.
the kids were they just rolled their eyes and like, oh, dad. But they were game for it.
Did they think it was funny?
Oh yeah, they thought it was hilarious. And
Yeah.
they I joke that my kids are both equally proud of and embarrassed by me. So
Yeah.
no, I mean, it's kind of funny. I'm like many writers and people, I'm kind of two different people sometimes, depending who you're talking to. I'm the parish council member at my church who coaches girls soccer, and I'm also this guy who enjoys just raunchy humor. So
Yeah, well, but that was so interesting about it is that you like merged two things. I, I remember laughing out loud when I first saw it, and then I looked at that scene again today before we talked, and I laughed out loud again, simply because it's just you just don't ever see these two things merge, these but and what's good about it, though, is that you just bring to the forefront what couples would talk about anyway, and or if not talk about or do, then at the very least they would joke about it, and
yeah, no, I was gonna say too, when I came up with the idea for the script, it was kind of funny because I have a friend who's very normal, straight and narrow and stuff, and it was just this idea, and I was kind of wondering if like a normal person could relate to it, and I asked him, do you think most husbands ever have the idea of this experience with their wife? And he's like, oh yeah. So
sure, of
I
course. I mean,
figured,
it's sex. So I mean,
yeah,
why would you not talk about sex with your wife? I mean, so I think the vast majority of them, if they um, if they don't do it, they're still they at least had a conversation about it.
sure, yeah. Well,
Um,
and that's the other reason I wanted to make. I felt I needed to make this film because no studio was going to make this film. I mean, if you're going to make an indie film, you may as well make something that no studio is going to make and that you want to see. And
draw attention. Yeah.
yeah, and I just think there's a lot of married couples who are adults who deserve to have their own raunchy humor comedy.
Well, yeah, and I think it's the whole group of people, the whole demographic that you're aiming this movie for. It's like you're telling them, hey, see, it's okay to talk about this. It's just fun. I think, oh, well, all the soccer moms are going to go, well, I guess so. In fact, it's almost, but with the big buildup, at the end, it's almost a little anticlimactic, it's just like, okay, fade out. You almost expect a little, but then again, how far can you go? You have to stay in keeping with the rest of the thing. Now, how did you go about casting the wife?
We spread a far casting net in Seattle. That's where I'm from. We held multiple auditions. I contacted some talent agencies, and we were very lucky in finding Kendra McDermott. She's a fantastic actress, and the thing I liked about her most is that she is actually a mother of two, and had those. There was a lot about the character that obviously came through her own personal experiences
Right.
as an actress and a mother of two, and she could really understand the character and made it her own.
Yeah. Now, did and was she married?
Yes, no, she's married and has two children.
Yeah. So I mean, your husband had no qualms?
No, it was interesting because I did have along the way different actresses that when I was doing callbacks, they bailed at that point. They're like, oh, my husband doesn't really want me to, or I'm worried. But as you mentioned, I mean, I hope people will see it. It is kind of like you said, a Disney film that's kids can't see or something.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, but they can see though, because because I mean, it's not unusual for sort of sex education to start at a very young age. It's not, and to take I guess it helps take the mystique out of it, or at least make sure that the kids see that this is a normal, healthy function. Even though most kids at that age maybe aren't thinking that at that age, at an early age, but then they might be thinking, oh, I guess that's okay. But yeah, I mean, what the main thing you did is that you started a dialogue, and you came up with something that is just kind of stands alone, as a little beacon for people who are a beacon of life for people who like to bring that kind of stuff out in the open, so kudos to you for that.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
I mean, it's that's one of the fun parts for me, is to hear from people who watch the film and then they go have dinner somewhere and they're like, I had a really interesting conversation with my friends, over dinner and stuff. So
sure. Yeah. So what's the next thing you want to do after this?
I have a few things in the cooker. I've kind of retouching up some scripts I've written. Part of doing this film was I was hoping it could be a little bit of a calling card to getting myself an agent or representation. Right now, I'm still heavily involved in trying to get distribution for this. I signed with the producer's rep recently, who's starting to take it out to distributors. And then, as you mentioned with the Batman and everything, I'm also working on a graphic novel project too that I'd like to see come to fruition. So
That's great.
a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Well, good for you, man. I mean, it all, but that you what you've done too, though, by doing this, you're kind of setting up yourself for the next one, where someone says, what's the next outrageous thing George is going to do?
I do have another one that's somewhat outrageous.
There you
So
go. All right. Well, yeah, I look forward to seeing it.
well, thanks. No, I was really glad, and I was so excited to be accepted by you guys and stuff. This darn pandemic, we've been accepted by so many film festivals, but then haven't been able to visit them because they've had to shorten their screenings. But I'm really excited to be part of the Studio City of International Film and TV Festival.
International, baby.
International.
It's great meeting you today, George, and continued success, and we'll be in touch with. There's different online things coming up too, like some panels and stuff too that we'll let you know about when they come up.
Oh, sure, I'd love it. And anybody has any other questions about the film, hopefully visited it. We have our website, www.triptobrowntown.com, and then get a neat t-shirt like this one. Woohoo!
Well, who wouldn't want that? Oh my God.
The cast and crew, are you kidding?
No, I love it. On that note, George, I bid you adieu.
Thank you very much, and look forward to the festival.
All right. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.